Hi everybody, my name is Cade, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about using the locker room at the gym. Using a new locker room is probably going to be a little nerve-wracking, but if you feel comfortable and feel safe taking this next step or taking the step into this locker room, then I definitely recommend it, and it seems like it's helped me a whole lot in transitioning and trying to feel more comfortable. And remember that you are supposed to be there, and it's not an inconvenience to anybody, and that it's, a basic thing that you should have access to without feeling weird. If you've already been using this gym for a little while and have been using the locker room of the gender that you were assigned, then you could either just say to hell with it, start using the correct locker room for you. I've heard of people taking a break from the gym, which I wouldn't recommend. If you've already got a habit of going, I would keep it up. But maybe just don't use the locker room for a little bit. Come already changed and, shower when you go home. By no means do you have to let anybody know or tell anybody that you're switching locker rooms or any kind of story, any backstory. Nobody needs to know your business, really. All right, so the first thing we're going to touch on is simply going into the locker room. Maybe your first couple times if you want, maybe bring like a sibling or a friend of the gender of the locker room you're using, just to kind of be like a backup or kind of like a support for you if you're a little bit nervous. But there's really not a whole lot to be nervous about, and honestly most of it is going to be you being nervous or freaking out versus other people actually thinking anything or even realizing. And so to go into the locker room, all you got to do is just go in. So having a little bit of confidence and, walking in like you're supposed to be there because you are supposed to be there and that's where you identify, that confidence can really go a long way for you. Another thing you can do is wear a hat to the gym or into the locker room. So I would wear a hat, and then when I would walk into the locker room, I could kind of keep my head down if I was nervous or worried that somebody was going to see me and read me as female. Another thing you can do is sort of be a little occupied when you walk in. So you can, be looking down at your cell phone. Just try not to bump into everybody. When I go into a locker room, the first thing I try to do is find the best locker. You're picking a locker for you to feel comfortable. So if you want a big locker, pick a big locker. If you want a big locker and a small, bring 2 locks. I don't care. Half of them are never touched anyways. So I prefer a locker in a corner, and I prefer the really long lockers or as big of a locker as they've got. The reason for this is then when you're in a corner and the locker opens up, you've got this big door kind of as a privacy screen. So you have the corner and this door, and then you got a little bit more privacy than you might have in the middle of the locker room. If you're nervous about people seeing you when you're at your locker, when you first come in, you can see the lockers that are immediately visible, and then pick a locker that's maybe, you have to turn in order to see it, so that you have a little bit more privacy than when somebody comes in, then the first thing that they see is you. If there's a lock already on a locker where you're looking, maybe get a locker in a different area or a couple down from that, just in case you and that other person are in the locker room at the same time when you're done. You don't have to go and unlock your locker right next to some naked guy. And if that does happen, get a drink and wait until they might be done or have moved. So the next thing is what the locker room is like inside. So if you've been inside of the locker room of the other gender or, in a different locker room, chances are it's going to be pretty much exactly the same as that. I use Planet Fitness, and I've noticed most of their gym locker rooms are set up the same. When you first enter, you can go one way, and that has all the lockers. There's some benches, a counter with some mirrors, maybe a blow dryer. Some even have like an iron and ironing board. If you go the other way, there's typically the restroom stalls, urinals in this case, of course sinks, mirrors, lights, and then there's also shower stalls. And then some locations or some gyms might have changing stalls, which are just somewhere you can go and change into your gym clothes. Changing in the locker room is another layer of, are you comfortable to do this yet? You can go in, use the locker, put your stuff in and work out and take your stuff out, and that can be it. And that's what a lot of people do. So changing your bottoms typically is the easiest thing and most comfortable thing, at least for me, in the locker room. So it's easy just to have my locker door open, take off my pants or shorts, and put on whatever I'm going to work out in. Because all guys have legs and butts, and that's not a big deal. Where changing gets a little bit trickier is changing your top, depending on your situation. So I work out in a sports bra, and I don't want anyone to see my straps at all, and that makes me really self-conscious. So if I were to change my shirt at the gym, I would probably take my shirt to a changing stall or the bathroom and just change my shirt. I mean, some people are gonna be a little self-conscious and change, hidden away and not right out in the middle of everything also. It's definitely possible to change your shirt at the locker with some ingenuity that I just haven't even tried to tap into. I've heard of people that will take, I don't know how the hell you can do this, take your shirt and binder off in one motion. So you're standing there topless, but your locker is blocking here, and then there's a corner that you have some privacy. So all they see is your back. And then you could have your, whatever you're working out in, if it's a sports bra or just a shirt, and throw that on in one motion. I've not mastered nor attempted that at home or in the gym, but it's definitely something that, might click and make sense for you. I think that about wraps up this video on using the locker room and changing in the locker room and picking a locker in the locker room. If you have any questions or maybe advice for other people that are using the locker room, go ahead and add a comment. Be sure to like and subscribe, so I'm putting out some more videos soon related to this. One probably on etiquette in a locker room or bathroom in general. I'm definitely going to do a video about showering at the gym, and I might do a video about what kind of clothes that I wear at the gym, because people are so interested in me. All right, take care guys, see you later.